Prosecutors are still gathering information about the case. In court this afternoon, they read out a report from a Green Bay police detective. The report says Rozonowski admitted to having sex with a 16-year-old boy at Southwest High School. At first, she didn't admit to the relationship with the student, but began telling detectives they had sexual intercourse twice. Rozonowski says the first time was in July when she was drunk, and the second time was recently on August 5th. Rozonowski told police she and the 16-year-old loved each other and she cared about him. Prosecutors say the 16-year-old was being questioned by detectives today. He did admit to the relationship with Rozonowski.
A woman who had sex with a high school student she met while working at a Green Bay high school learned her punishment today. Courtney Rozonowski received 6 months in jail. The judge called her the nightmare of every parent. Rozonowski pleaded no contest to a charge of exposing intimate parts to a child. 3 more serious charges were previously dropped, and that's because she was not under contract with the Green Bay School District when the sex took place. Rozonowski must also serve 3 years probation. The judge ordered her to write a letter of apology to staff at Southwest High School. She must also send letters to every school superintendent in the county because of the damage she's caused to the profession.
24-year-old Meredith Powell was booked into the Pierce County Jail this afternoon on suspicion of third-degree child rape and communicating with a minor for immoral purposes. A Tacoma Public School District spokesman says it was an anonymous tip on Tuesday that led to her arrest.
What we know at this point is that this teacher's been employed by the Tacoma Public School District for a little more than a year. We know that the victims are all boy students, three of them at least, and that we're told by a source that they are conflicted and confused by the charges and this teacher's arrest. Right now, she's in the Pierce County Jail while Tacoma police continue their investigation and look into the possibility of even more victims.
This high school math teacher has been arrested and charged with child rape. She was booked into the Pierce County Jail just a few hours ago.
Sources tell Cairo 7 there may be as many as 3 victims.
The popular math teacher is facing rape charges, accused of having sexual contact with 3 male students, ages 15, 16, and 17. Powell is accused of performing oral sex on a student. In fact, according to court documents, the teacher admitted she had sexual contact with 2 of her students in her empty classroom. Authorities say she also confessed to texting nude photos to a 3rd student. Students called Powell a good teacher, and many can't believe the accusations. Students have already set up a campaign on social media supporting the teacher, but even her attorney admits the case against Powell does not sound good.
While a woman who worked as an instructional aide at Texas High School has pleaded not guilty to charges of having a sexual encounter with 3 male students.
Ashlyn Bell is charged with 2 counts of improper relationship between an educator and a student and 2 counts of sexual assault of a child.
Here at home, the Henderson teacher arrested for lewdness with a student pleaded not guilty in court yesterday. That's Breanna Hernandez, and she's facing several charges, including kidnapping and luring a student. The 27-year-old doesn't have a prior criminal record, apparently. A judge set her bail at $5,000 and ordered her not to have contact with the victim or the victim's family. She's also not allowed on campus of Basic High School.
After more than a decade in the classroom, Meredith Martin was abruptly removed from her role as a teacher at South River High School in Edgewater. Anne Arundel County Police say their year-long investigation led them to enough evidence to charge her with 5 counts of sex abuse of a minor, a felony, and 10 additional charges. And at this point, the department is not ruling out the possibility there could be other cases. WJZ has learned the alleged incidents involved a male student who's still enrolled in the district. He reportedly told police he had numerous sexual encounters with the teacher in the Davidsonville and Edgewater area.
A former Spanish teacher at Mayville High School will be in prison for the next 2 years. 44-year-old Shannon Cardinal was sentenced today for her conviction of having sex with a student.
English sentenced Cardinal to 2 years in prison. That's more than the 1 year in jail prosecutors had asked for. The victim did not attend the sentencing. Cardinal was convicted of 6 incidents of sexual assault and texting naked pictures of herself to the student. Judge English says the conduct outweighed the fact Cardinal previously had a clean record and has since found employment that does not put her in contact with minors. As part of her sentence, Cardinal will also be required to register as a sex offender. She will have 60 days to report to begin her sentence.
Her Titusville gym teacher heading to trial next month in Crawford County, 32-year-old Rochelle Cressman is accused of having sex with a 14-year-old student. She's facing multiple counts of sexual assault and a variety of other felonies. A judge has ruled her rights were not violated when her husband turned over her cell phone to state police. According to the Meadville Tribune, state troopers obtained a search warrant and discovered text messages between the teacher and the alleged victim.
She apologized for the pain she's caused, and now a former teacher from Adams County is headed to prison for molesting a 10-year-old boy. Lisa Davis was sentenced this afternoon in Adams County Court. The former Othello fifth-grade teacher did not have to face her accuser and will now face nowhere near the maximum punishment for the crime.
In late 2012, the 48-year-old Davis started an inappropriate relationship with a 10-year-old boy in her class. It wasn't until May of 2013 that a school district employee alerted police to the suspicious activity. Court documents say at that point Davis admitted to her family that she had kissed the boy, touched his genitalia, and allowed him to touch her breasts. On September 16th, she pleaded guilty to first-degree child molestation. The judge today sentenced her to 51 months. However, because she was eligible for the sex offender sentencing alternative program, she will serve 1 year with at least 3 years of out-of-custody sex offender treatment.
Earlier today, a judge sentenced a local teacher to 5 years in prison for sexually abusing a student. She appeared in court this afternoon, as did the victim's mother.
The police investigators and prosecutors allege McCrea raped a 15-year-old boy. Some of the alleged activity, according to police, including touching and kissing. It happened, they say, inside the high school. I checked with police today. They say they are still investigating and working through sorting out all the evidence. Some of that evidence I've learned includes McCrea's Facebook account. According to prosecutors, she created a fake Facebook account so she could talk with the victim while the investigation was in its early stages.
Stephanie McCrea pleaded guilty to sexually abusing one of her students back in July. The former Evergreen High School drama teacher was arrested in January for having an inappropriate relationship with a 15-year-old boy. The abuse started in December, and McCrea and the boy had several sexual encounters, according to police. Investigators also say McCrea told the boy what to say if he was ever questioned by police.
An Evergreen High School teacher accused of raping a 15-year-old student has pleaded not guilty. We first told you about Stephanie McCrea when she was arrested last month. She's accused of having sex with a student in her school office and at her home.
In other news tonight, a Taylor High School teacher arrested accused of having a sexual relationship with a 16-year-old student. Blanca Claudio Laracuente turned herself in today in the Williamson County Jail. Police say they were told by the Texas Department of Family and Protective Services about the alleged sexual relationship between Claudio Laracuente and the student. Taylor police were then able to obtain an arrest warrant. She's been charged with sexual assault of a child and improper relationship between educator and student, both second-degree felony.